Hello folks, my name is Shara and welcome to the stream rather. We're just doing some PowerWash Sim as usual tonight. I could probably get started about 8:05 as is my wont.
Check out these deals of the week at Walgreens.
Of course it figures, right when I start getting ads on the YouTubes. Hi Jay, thank you for joining. I hope you're having a good night and that you had supper. Nice. I'm glad. Cuddles with Alexi are a required part of your day. By the way, how's the music on my side, or how is the audio on my side of things? Are you able to hear the background music? Hi, Brian. Thank you for joining as well. Hope you got supper, especially after having a hard day at work, like I know you did. Good, good. Thanks, Jay. I'm never really sure. Yes, good. I had leftovers. We got curry last night. The only trouble is with the specific place I get curry, if you get, which I had forgotten because I haven't gotten it in quite a while, if you get the goat curry, they leave the bone in. And it just makes you kind of have to pick out the bones first if you don't want to, risk your mouth while eating. I miss your curry, Jay. Your chimkin curry. It was always the best. So I'm doing PowerWash Sim tonight, but there's a new level in House Flipper 2 we can do next week. Well, you've been busy, Jay. Yeah, I can't wait to visit you guys next time that I get a chance. I'll even remember the curry this time. Well, to be fair, it's still tasty without it. But the whole point of curry is curry. When did you make it and forget the curry aspect of it? Was I there for that? I made it one day and got like 90% of the process before remembering it needed curry. It was definitely in the old house. I wonder if it was when we had one of our get-togethers. I don't remember. That's too funny though. Although, that doesn't top the one time my mom made pumpkin pie and forgot to put in sugar. But she only realized it after it came out of the oven. Fortunately, you got enough whipped cream to pumpkin pie and it's sweet enough, even without sugar in the batter. It was pretty funny though. Tori reminds you all the time, they're your twin. They are obligated to remind you and give you shit. Well, we might as well get the game part started. So part of why I titled this Radical Stunts is the big job we're doing this time is the skate park. This is from the park warden, the same guy that we cleaned the playground for. It seems our little town is going up in the world. Muckingham's skate park has been chosen to host the next county championships. Ordinarily, I'd leave the sullen types to roll around in their own filth, as is their wont, but if it's getting in the papers and on TV, we can't have people seeing all that grime and funny writing, so I want you to hit it with everything you've got. So let's go and clean this. So this is a pretty neat skate park, I would say. Pretty dirty, though. Oh, let me see if I can't remember where the kitty footprints are before I start cleaning. I think they're over here. Yeah, here they are. Kitty prints. Yeah. I gotta remember to find those before I start cleaning every time. Yeah, I hope you guys have had a good week. Everyone's taking care of yourselves as much as possible, I hope. This was my first week of the new schedule, which is 4 days, and 4 days on, 3 days off with slightly longer shifts. It's a slow week. I've just been vibing and writing. I love that for you, Jay. You deserve a kind of a chill time. I was a big girl and did my taxes today. But that's the only chore I've gotten done. I need to at least put away some of my laundry tomorrow and get food ready for the week. Man, there's this guy I work with that I think you guys would really get along with. He's this adorable, like, round bot. Like, he's kind of me-shaped. He's a rat. Well, he's like short and round like me. He's a really cute bisexual black dude, and he's just he paints his nails. He has bright earrings and stuff. I just think y'all will get along. He seems like such a sweetheart. No, he's not a rat. That's not what I tried to say. I just can't speak tonight for some reason. But nah, he's such a sweetheart, and he's like the first dude in the class that like I offered free hugs to a lot of my younger little classmates at work, and he's the first person to take me up on it. So I was like, oh no, I'm keeping him. He seems like a sweetheart. He reminds me of Jake a little bit, actually. But dialed up to 11 a little bit on the energy level. Yeah. Nice, yeah. But yeah, I don't know, just being around him reminds me of you guys, I guess. I'm in our little training class. I'm like one of the oldest ones, which is kind of weird. Most of the rest of the group is like in their early to mid 20s. There's only 2 people that are older than me, and they're both like middle-aged mothers. I might be that mentally in some respects, but they certainly have real life experience. But yeah, so like most of the class is younger than me, which is a weird feeling when like everyone was basically my same age when I was working at my previous company. So everyone's just so baby. Like I have a full decade on most of them. It's weird. But I guess I better get used to it. 'Cause it's not like that's gonna change, 'cause I certainly am not getting any younger. So I had somebody, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the chat or not, but there was somebody, a customer who called in about the company, who immediately demanded to speak to a supervisor. So obviously we don't just hand them off to a supervisor, we have to mitigate the issue first and determine if it actually needs a soup, which 99% of the time it does not. So I asked him why he's calling, and he was upset because he had applied to a photo contest, and we hadn't announced the winners yet. That was it. That was what he wanted to speak to a supervisor about. Just like, wow, these people. But all of our customers are like, 99% of our customer base is retired white people. So it's like, yeah, I guess I am gonna get a lot of that kind of crap, huh? Rip and pip me. I think I must have told y'all about the customer that, so I work for a travel-related company, and when this customer found out about, yeah, I want to go to a supervisor. Nah, fam, you joke, but like that is legit how I do. Except nicely, like, okay, that's understandable. Well, if you could tell me what you're calling about, I can look into it a little bit for you and see the best way we can get this addressed for you. Breaks out the customer service voice on stream. Whoops. But yeah, this one person, I didn't talk to her, someone else did. But, basically how it was relayed to me was she didn't want to take the small planes on one of the African safaris. There are some small planes that get you from place to place because a lot of the places they go are extremely rural in certain parts of Africa. And there's really no alternate transportation of any sort. So she wanted to cancel those small planes and asked us to give her the exact schedule she would need to schedule a limo. In the middle of the Serengeti, she was expecting to be able to get a limo service. Mind you, folks were taking the plane ride, which was like an hour, instead of driving like 6. So it's like, wow, you have no understanding of how the world works. Also, hi Sandra and hi Bun, thank you guys for joining. I hope you guys are having a good night and that you've had supper. Or a snack or something. Take care of yourself, Sandra. Okay. I think I remember that your family eats late, so that's understandable. But, you know, get yourself food at some point here. Ah, yes. The sacred nap time. That's understandable. That was me last weekend. I did not want to get up today. It wasn't even that I was particularly tired, I just didn't want to get up. But I did. Girl Scout cookies are great, Bun, but did you have any real food in there? around the cookies. Okay, good. Good. Sorry, not to shame you or anything, but especially because I know sometimes food is hard. I absolutely understand that, but yeah. You hit your water. Excellent! The water goals are important. Actually, speaking of that, one moment as I hail hydrate. I just filled up my water bottle and I should probably take a drink from it. Hydrate, bitches! Yeah, no, I always, when I'm at work, I tend to forget. So when I'm at home, I try to drink a little bit more. It doesn't exactly compensate, but it's easier to manage when I am not on the phone. That's right, I should. PW. Oh, damn it, I cleaned too much of it. I can't see what it had said. Gotta remember to do that to the wall first so I can read any graffiti before I clean everything. That just looks like a bouncy ball. Boing. Ooh. Hi, Ocean. Thank you for popping in. I hope you're having a good night. Aw. Well, say hi to Kit for me. I know he's streaming too, so don't feel obligated to stay in my stream if you'd rather watch his. I completely understand. But I really do appreciate you coming by to say hi. We're just doing some chill PowerWash Sim stuff tonight. Ah yes, the most iconic of weird S things that everyone knew how to draw, I guess. I mean, you're not lying, Kit. You did send yourself. Aw, thank you, Ocean. And thank you, Kit, for coming in. Our night of radical stunts begins with cleaning the skate park. Oh, thank you, Kit. I very much appreciate it, and I hope your stream goes well as well. See, I never really understood this thing. Like, I don't know. Everyone drew it a lot at school, and I never understood A, where they had learned it, or B, why it was so, like, everyone knew. Oh, hi, Flame! Thank you for popping in as well, Uppo! I hope you're having a good night, and everyone I know, the others who are already in the chat have given me their answers, but I hope the rest of you have had supper, or at least a snack, depending on where you are. I really do appreciate you folks popping by. Trying something slightly different with the music today. It's also, of course, copyright free, but it's a different playlist, so we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna be trying for for probably Wednesday streams with Kit, when possible. And then probably Saturday streams. Saturday or Sunday. Oh, the graffiti art's great. I love this. It's all over this little park. I actually feel a little bit sad about having to remove it. Some of it actually kind of enhances the park. But I won't get full credit for the job if I don't. There's a lot of graffiti in my... it's not exactly my part of town, but it is relatively nearby. There's a couple buildings a little further away from here because I'm right near some of the local colleges. And so they keep everything squeaky clean right here, but a little further down there's a lot of graffiti. Yeah, graffiti does add a lot of character. I would agree with that. Of course, none if it's crude or gross. I'm not a fan of that as much. I think graffiti should, I guess, enhance where it is and not damage it, I guess. Let's see, I wanted to... can't really... I have a hard time reading graffiti is the thing, and I don't really know what this says. Street? Looks like it says, oh, street and then pointing this way. I mean, yes, I guess that is technically correct. There is a street in that direction. There's a spot just outside Minneapolis under the highway overpasses that's just covered in it. All the pillars at ground level have something. That's really neat. There's actually a couple more levels in this game that have some pretty cool graffiti. One of them is a subway station. And I think my favorite level that has a lot of graffiti in it is actually a bathroom. Hilariously. I appreciate that, Jay. I have a really hard time reading bubble letters, and I always have. My brain just doesn't parse them all the way correctly. Oh, I actually brought up to my doctor, not my doctor, my counselor, about possibly having autism, and she agreed it's a good idea to get tested, so that's something I'm going to be doing once I get my, neuropsych testing, I mean. Once I get my new doctor info figured out, since my new insurance from the new job just kicked in this month. So, we'll go from there. Maybe I have it, maybe I don't. Either way, I'm certainly not a neurotypical creature. Here we go. Is the music too loud, y'all, or nah? See, I don't want to clean this. It's cute. Oh well. Alrighty. How is this? Too quiet now? Not quiet enough? Okie doke, so a little louder, but okay. How is this? Is this alright? It's hard when the music itself kind of crescendos at different spots. I appreciate that. Vectors? Is someone doing like archaic math and shit? Nah, the flower. Okay, oh, that's cute. I don't know if that's supposed to be actual text or just gibberish. But it's a happy face. Let's see. Yeah, RM... I can't read that. This just looks like squiggles. A climbing person. Whoop! I got more air than I really wanted to. Okay, that's not graffiti, just some interesting mud. Aww. The classic. CMFP. Oh, you know what? I think this is Calvin Miller. The dude, one of the dudes that we had a job from early in the game. Why is that shadow moving? What's moving behind us? I'm concerned. What is casting that shadow? It's too solid to... You know what? I'm not gonna ask questions. I'm just gonna go away from that right now. I'm not asking questions. I'm concerned. I don't know what that shadow was, and I don't think I want to know. It's funny you should say aliens, Ben. But I'm not gonna say why, because that would be a spoiler. There we go. There's that one. Oops. This is a cute little skate park, though. Have you played, Potion Permit? Or, Moonlighter? Yeah. I assume you've also played Unpacked? I think the Scott Pilgrim game is also available in digital format still. Oh, Unpacked is an incredible game. I would really recommend it. It's relatively short, but it's so relaxing and it's so cute. Some of the best examples of environmental storytelling that I've ever seen in a game. It's literally just a game where you unpack things and throughout someone's life, and you learn a lot about them in doing so. That is never explicitly stated. You just pick it up from context clues, and it's honestly really fascinating. Plus the music is good. It's really cute pixelated graphics. See, I haven't played A Little to the Left just yet. Actually, I haven't played my Switch in a while. Oh, I did start playing Tales of Vesperia? I realized I had gotten it like ages ago for my Switch, but had never played it because it's a relatively old game. I gotta get around to playing that. I started it, but I'm not very far in just yet. So A Little to the Left can be a little frustrating? Yeah, that sounds about right. Trying to think of what other games. I haven't really gotten many new games for that for the Switch recently. I mean, Diablo 3 works pretty nicely for the Switch, but like, I'm fundamentally against giving Blizzard money right now. Yeah, that sounds like it sounds a little tiring if it's like platforming or a more intense puzzle-solving game. Crap, I'm trying to remember. There was this game series that my roommate was telling me about that was kind of silly, but also a lot of fun. It was like a mix between a visual novel and a puzzle game that they recently re-released for the Switch. Oh, I don't remember. I'll have to ask him. If I remember the name, I'll send you the it via in Discord or something. I did relatively recently get Tetris versus the game Rem likes. Puyo Tetris. I got a couple of those. The first and second one, I believe. Or at least the first one. Oh no, it's literally just putting items to specific places. Everything has a place and you gotta figure out where that is. I mean, that's kind of like unpacking. But unpacking, I think you have more freedom. I mean, technically, in unpacking, there's a special achievement for putting everything in the wrong place. I need the ladder. That does sound up my alley, though. I might have to give that game a shot, bun. The problem is that there's a good handful of games that I've started for the Switch and haven't finished yet, so I can't give full reviews. Some levels have multiple ways of solving. That is interesting. Yeah, no, I might definitely have to give this a shot. If you like, it kind of depends on what you like too for games. Like I'm a fan of the Scott Pilgrim game that was re-released on the Switch. It's genuinely a pretty good game, and the music is pretty baller. Anamanaguchi is a fucking legend. If anyone else has game suggestions, please give them. I'm sure I would be interested in them as well. Hatoful Boyfriend on stream? Aw man, I'd have to get a legal version of Hatoful Boyfriend. Remember when that shit first came out, I had like a badly translated version that was semi-legal from the internets because they hadn't released the English version yet, but actually yeah, it is. I actually might even have a Steam version. I'm so bad at romance novels, or at romance visual novels though. But I'll definitely consider it. I wonder if they ever released a legitimate English version and not just a fan translation of that one. Jay, do you remember the visual novel? It was a romance novel it was like this dude that was going to a school full of folks with disabilities and stuff like that. And some of the romance things were like pretty well done, and some of them were pretty cringe. Like there's a blind person, someone who couldn't speak, a gal who had leg prosthetics. I don't remember the name of it. But I'm almost certain you were the one to show it to me. Maybe it was Tori. I do not remember. It was definitely an interesting one. know I have a lot of those old games still on my external hard drive. I should dig that out from wherever I put it. Nah, that's fair. It's only been like over a decade since college, Jay. How dare you not remember something from over 10 years ago? Actually, that might have been something K-Rose sent me. Come to think of it, I don't remember. I'll figure it out. It's not super important right this moment. Actually, Jay, do you remember Bonnie from college? She has her own Patreon, and she's working on a bird dating sim. Except it's, you know, everyone is birds. Actually, I'm not sure if she used the correct pronouns anymore. I'll ask her. Or I'll ask Bonnie, rather. Nah, Bonnie's a good bean. They're the first friend I ever made at college. At the orientation, we recognized each other's anime t-shirts and just kind of did the fucking, you know, what's it called? The Spider-Man pointing at each other meme, basically. I wouldn't say that avoiding bestiality makes someone a coward. Alright, I should go do this section of walls. I love being a telepath, or not telepath, I love having telekinesis. Just summon the ladder to me from way across the street. I was jumping to see if there was still dirt over there, and then I forgot all I have to do is just target the area with my cursor to see whether or not there's still dirt. I'm so good at this. Skating wasn't really a thing, like, because there was nowhere to skate and nowhere to buy skateboards. So it really wasn't a thing in my hometown growing up. Instead, you had a lot of folks getting four-wheelers and stuff like that. Equal opportunity for, you know, someone getting terribly injured. But everyone wonders why I don't want to learn how to drive. And like everything, like every time the only thing I haven't been into some kind of minor accident with that has wheels is a car. Like I've gotten thrown off of a four-wheeler, a snowmobile, a jet ski type thing, a motorcycle. Fortunately, none of these were serious injuries that required hospital visits, but it all was certainly enough to make me not really interested in learning how to drive any of them, or, you know, ride with anyone on them ever again. And my brother, within 24 hours of getting his license when we were kids, or when teenagers, my brother flipped and destroyed the family car. So, oh yeah, bicycle too. He got into a terrible accident, and my best friend back home also broke, like literally broke her skull in a bicycle accident and had to be airlifted to like a nearby hospital. So like I don't like stuff with wheels, I guess. Nothing good happens when I interact with stuff with wheels. See, everyone around me gets the dumb injuries. And then I just decide not to do whatever they were doing. And it's effective for not getting injured, and also effective from cutting me out of a lot of activities. Yeah, no, my brother legitimately, like, not so much now that he's an adult and has grown up, but my poor brother growing up it's just a comedy of errors. So he, let's see, he got into a lot of bicycle accidents, you know, just bicycling, like, for a while until he learned how to ride that correctly. Yeah, no, a living episode of Jackass is pretty accurate for him and my father. The worst injuries Steven, my brother, ever had was, so he got slammed into the baseboard, or whatever you call it, the rink board during a hockey game, and broke his leg. While he was recovering for that, he had finally gotten his cast off. This is when we were still living in the old trailer, and after he recovered from breaking his leg, he was sleeping in my mom's bed because it was the lowest to the ground and therefore the easiest. Our old trailer was kind of jank. It was kind of old, and there were a couple spots that had like exposed metal, and normally we were pretty careful, but in Mum's room there was a built-in dresser that one of the handles was slightly broken, and the metal was exposed and kind of sharp. And Steven was putting on his pants, he lost balance, he fell in such a way that metal sliced open his leg and he had to get a bunch of stitches. The same leg he had just broken. So it was like a ton of stitches he had to get for that. So he's still in recovery from that, right? And he gets walking pneumonia. He faints in the kitchen. My dad doesn't catch him in time, and he gets a walking concussion, or not a walking concussion, he gets a minor concussion from that. which she exacerbates later on the playground by smashing his head into, like, the monkey bars. And then when we were in high school, he was helping a neighbor of ours with, this is gonna be, I'm gonna try not to describe it graphically, but it is gonna be possibly upsetting hand-related trauma. So for the next 30 seconds, if you can't handle that, I guess cover your ears. Or don't listen. So he was helping somebody with, our neighbors with the wood splitter. Basically, his hand got stuck, one of his ring finger on his left hand got stuck between the wood and the lever that pushes it, so it got crushed, part of his ring finger, and the upper knuckle had to be amputated. So, that was in high school. He really had a hard time learning. Basically, he had to relearn how to type without it, without the ring finger. Or, only the top part of it's gone. And, so there was that. Let's see, I'm trying to think of any other serious injuries he got. Yeah, no, like, truly a jackass episode of a human being. Like, but he comes by it honestly. That should be it for graphic descriptions of injuries. Is he okay? Well, I mean, for the most part, I guess he is. He definitely gets into a lot fewer injuries now that he's grown. But no, he was extremely accident prone as a kid. Just because, like, I mean, kudos to him. He had to grow up way too fast. He kind of got targeted by my pedophilic sister-in-law because she went after him when he was still 17 and she was in her late 20s and got impregnated by him, so he dropped out of high school to help raise the baby, and they're still together despite the fact that, you know, he's caught her doing shit like, you know, drugs in the car when the kids are in the car. I hate her guts, but he's determined to stick it out regardless, because he's a very honorable dude, is my brother. And he's not, I think he works very hard and he's found his own measure of happiness, I think. It's kind of a family curse, to be honest, with the dudes. It's part of why I'm never having children. They tend to get involved with someone relatively young and have kids at too young of an age. The same thing happened with my grandfather and his father and dad. Though technically, my dad didn't... Technically, the kid that his first wife had was not his. He just allowed her to put his name on the birth certificate because she didn't know which of the two men she was cheating on my father with was the actual father. And actually, technically, I actually don't know whether or not they're still legally married. I think I've mentioned this on the chat on stream before. Still not sure if Dad is technically married to his first wife. He hasn't legally married my mother, but they've been together for 35 plus years, so. But yeah, no, there's a good reason I'm just straight up... There's many reasons I'm straight up never having children. That's one of them. It's kind of a family curse. Well, it's not... It only really sounds bad when you say it all in quick succession like that. For the most part, everyone gets around their lives as usual. Everyone gets mad at me when I remind them that my sister-in-law is technically a pedophile, but, you know, whatever. If y'all can't handle the truth, I guess we just won't talk about it. See, the problem is that, like, I don't know, you couldn't make a funny sitcom out of my family's life, I don't think. Unless you were to interview my father and get some of his stories from when he was younger, because my father is truly a child of the 60s. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll style, all the way down. Technically, so is my grandfather, but, well, you know, from a different generation, but Grandpa refuses to talk about how he used to party hard. He pretends it never happened. Which, honestly, nah, man. Fess up. Like, my dad used to be... Well, my dad would ride with Grandpa when Grandpa was, like, driving, I think, tires to and from certain places in Vermont. And, like... my dad was maybe 8 years old, and he would have my dad mixing him... Grandpa would have my father, at 8 years old, making mixed drinks in the back of the car to hand up to him. The 60s were a weird time, y'all. No one even thought twice. It's weird how nowadays, like, people can be so aghast at shit that previous generations do, but then still not give kids the level of care and attention they need, but think they're doing just fine. It's the strangest thing. It's a certain level of hypocrisy that I think every generation has. At least we're not them. Uh-huh. And you're doing worse in specific ways. Hi, Coons! Thank you for popping in! I'm gonna actually reroute what I was talking about because it was getting depressing. Welcome to the stream! Hope everyone's having a good night. You missed me going over the litany of injuries my brother got as a kid, which is not, well, a kid and a teenager, which is why I don't touch vehicles at all. I don't want to learn how to drive them because I'm just going to injure myself like he did. Which is part of why I'm still living down here and not with my parents. 'Cause, in rural New England, you definitely need to learn how to drive. And I'm going to avoid doing that for as long as humanly possible. You caused yourself to lose a piece of your memory from having a bicycle accident? Honestly, same thing happened to my best friend back home. She was going down a hill and literally cracked her skull open. She had to be airlifted to a southern, a better hospital in the south of the state. So, yeah. One of the many reasons I never learned how to ride a bike. But X skill is just as easy as learning how to ride a bike. Therein lies the issue. Ya bitch never learned. Oh, that's right, I can't. This is like one of the things I can't actively pick up. There we go. Mine was not that bad, but basically I was riding my bike with my friends and we were doing stupid, and all I remember was riding 1 minute and being inside my house crying, covered in scratches and bruises the next. Yeah, that does definitely sound like traumatic, short-term memory loss from physical injuries or simply from trauma. It's always disconcerting, huh? Actually, I was talking about how my brother had a fainting spell, and got a concussion from it when he was ill with walking pneumonia when we were actually kids, and he lost a chunk of memory from that as well. It is weird, and it's worrying. I haven't had that happen to me, but I'm told that it's a very disturbing experience. Of course, yeah. I'm hoping that I will never have a similar experience. But I guess we'll see. Wishes and fishes and all that. Yeah, I don't think it's a recommended experience by anyone. Neither is breaking your leg. I wouldn't recommend it. Not a fan. Kind of like undergoing surgery. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I haven't had to do that in my adult life either. Yeah, the similar feeling, like the abrupt, just period of absolutely nothingness between one memory and the next. That makes sense. It can be, I bet it's a little jarring. Yeah, waking up in a completely different space from where you were when you were last awake. Ugh, no thank you. Actually, no! I can relate to that! I used to sleepwalk a lot. It's not quite the same, but I can relate to waking up not being in the same place as you were when you fell asleep. Yeah, I used to sleepwalk constantly as a kid. I've somewhat grown out of it. I don't really get up and walk much anymore, but I do still have issues with parasomnias in general. The stuff that happens to you when you're in a state of being between sleep and awake. Like, sometimes, it happened to me when I was living with Jay, it happened to me when I'm living here in the old apartment. I'll, like, have a dream that alarms me. I'll wake up, I'll be like halfway out the door or something before I wake up all the way and realize that I don't need to leave, that there's nothing wrong. But I get stuck in the in-between phase of being awake and asleep for a lot longer than I think most folks do. It's always been an issue for me. Yeah, no, I think more than, a few times when we were living together, Jay, I think that did happen. Have a good night, Brian. Get some good rest. I hope this upcoming week isn't as terrible and that tomorrow goes quickly for you. Get good rest when you do. Yeah, you're supposed to, like, grow out of sleep-related things as an adult, but they've really stuck around for me. Definitely not as much as they were when I was a kid, but I think for me and my brother it's genetic. He didn't sleepwalk, but he had a lot of sleep talking and a lot of night terrors. Whereas I sleepwalked more. I don't think he really does it anymore, but last time we talked about it, he said that sometimes he does still get up in the middle of the night and doesn't know why he's up. So I do remember, when we were little kids, Mom and Dad used to drop us off at my Gram's wicked early in the morning. Graham would then get us, we would sleep for a couple more hours, and then Graham would get us up for breakfast and to go to school, because it was within walking distance of Graham's house. This was when they were both working jobs when we were in kindergarten and first grade. So I do remember one time going to sleep on the couch. No, I went to sleep in Graham's room and I woke up on the couch and I was like, what happened? And my brother was so upset. We were like maybe 8 at the time. And he was like, you came out and pushed me off the couch. I guess my sleeping self just really wanted the couch, even though Graham's bed was technically, like, way more comfortable. Apparently one time, I was doing a sleepover with my best friend Christina when we were children, and she used to have a little container of stuffed animals next to the bed. And I guess one time I just got up in the middle of the night and started throwing the stuffed animals around the room as though I were looking for something in the container. And then, before I left for college, we went on a camping trip. And by then, I thought I had grown out of the sleepwalking and sleep-talking. But she said that she woke up in the middle of the night, there was noises outside the tent, and I guess I, like, sat upright and in my sleep started quietly under my breath threatening whatever was coming into the campsite. Which, yeah, that's in character for me. I can't deny that. That's, yeah. But I guess I was just quietly swearing and threatening. I'm glad I wasn't too loud, though, because people might have not realized I was sleep-talking. Ugh, that camping trip kind of sucked, though. It rained most of it, and, like, I think I was sleepwalking, or sleep-talking, rather, because I was stressed, because, like, I'm small and round, but I trust people a lot, and I trust people a lot less than Christina did when we were children. So, like, I'm the one who always carries around a knife, and she's willing to be less careful with her safety. So I think the stress of all of that was what caused that. But it's kind of funny to think of me just sitting bolt upright in the, our little blow-up mattress for camping, just swearing in the middle of the night. as though swearing is gonna keep danger away. Luckily, mine are a lot less moving and more not realizing I was dreaming, and kind of going from dream to awake and not realizing for a few minutes that I just woke up. Yeah, I've had that happen before as well. I'm glad I have a door on my room. That wasn't always a given, because my old apartment I was sleeping in the living room, and growing up I didn't have a actual door. The trailer we lived in wasn't big enough for doors in the bedrooms, to be quite frank, so they were removed and we had blankets. And that's probably why, growing up, I got a lot further while sleepwalking than I really should have. Like, there's more than once that Dad said he started sleeping in the living room to stop me going out the door. Because there was more than once that I got past him while sleepwalking, left the trailer, and just started running around outside while asleep in the middle of the night. So, like, that's some real adult fear right there. My poor parents. My poor parents having to deal with that. When I was a kid, I had a lot of instances of deja vu, and my brain dreamed a lot of realistic things. Not to say I didn't have a lot of wild dreams either, but sometimes I would just dream about the most mundane things. Yeah, no, absolutely same. I had a lot of really distinct dreams, but I got deja vu, and if you have deja vu a lot, it starts to feel like it really kind of freaks you out. If it's consistent, because you're like, what is going on? That does still happen to me quite a lot. Like I'll almost be able to predict what's gonna happen in a conversation before it does. And it is because I had a mundane dream before. But it's still very disconcerting. You could just be going about your day and you're like, holy shit, I dreamed this. Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially like I'll be in a conversation with someone and they'll say something and then my brain will be like, didn't this already happen? And then that makes everything get kind of dreamlike and just really disturbing for a little bit. No, I'm definitely with you there. That happened to me a lot growing up. And still does sometimes. Yeah, no, I'm like especially at work. Like, this happened to me relatively recently. I had a very strong instance of deja vu. And it was about my interview. Like, the interview I had going into this job. And I was low-key freaked out because I was like, what is going on? Didn't this already happen? Okay, which wall did I miss? Come on, you're supposed to do the flashy thing to show me which wall I missed. Maybe it's one of the ones over here, out of my line of sight. Ah, 'tis! Alright, where did I leave you? Oh, there we go. I do always rather love that sped up thingo. It's one of my favorite things. Great job, Dirt Finder. Scrubbed up kinda neat, didn't it? Beats me how you do all that with just a jet of angry water. Not that folks seem grateful. All I'm getting so far is gas from the baggy pants brigade, complaining that it don't look sick no more, which was surely the point? Okay. Forest Cottage. This one's funny. It's H&G Hexa Jaeger, Great River County National Park. We are two humble confectioners, brother and sister, living on our own deep in the woods of the national park, and there's absolutely nothing strange about that. We are also the creators of the finest gingerbread ever to grace the country, but to stay on top we need constant reinvention, and our dream forest home has become a grubby grotto, affecting our ability to dream up wonderful new recipes. Can you come and restore our cottage, and with it, our creative flow? Danke! So this is an interesting one, because I assume you remember Mother Hubbard's, like the shoe house we did the other week. So this one is obviously a reference to Hansel and Gretel. Also, I think the game, there's something wrong here. Game? Hey game, you good? Alright, I'm just gonna restart. This happens sometimes. Here we go. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen again. Alright, let's go back to Hansel and Gretel's cottage. So, a few fun things about this. There is bubblegum residue on their chimney, which is fun. There's also bubblegum here, and there's some very special graffiti right here. Which will make more sense once I read some of their texts. Hello, our forest home puts the grot into grotto. Haha, could you please come and give it a spring clean, please? I know it's natural for people to be suspicious, but we really are who we say we are. Yes, we moved here just a week after that bank robbery, but people move houses all the time. So that was Hansel, this is Gretel. You might say I bear a slight resemblance to Floozy McGee, but she was a much younger than I am now, and such a happy soul. Hansel looks nothing like Rocky McGee. Hansel has a huge beard, long unruly hair, and defeated eyes. Rocky was young, clean-shaven, handsome, with such spirit. Rocky would never run away from the law to hide out in a dank cottage for years, claiming to be a baker, unless he was completely desperate. So yeah, these guys are these guys are Hansel and Gretel, and they're bank robbers. And that's really about as deep as it gets. This job has changed a little bit. The house used to be a lot more funky looking and not in a good way. But they've definitely updated it to be a lot cleaner looking. It also used to be somewhat harder to clean because some of the stuff was weirdly shaped. They were definitely going after the fairy tale aesthetic, but it was tricky to, and I guess they must have gotten that feedback from enough folks that they updated it slightly. And now it looks nicer, and it's easier to clean. Oh man. So, I think a lot of you already know this, or some of you do at any rate. Where I went to college, I did work study, and I did custodial, so I did a lot of cleaning wicked early in the morning. There was a relatively new building on our campus that had been built for classes. And it was very nice looking, all like stone and glass and such. But whoever built it clearly had put no thought whatsoever into actually cleaning, how to clean it. For example, the second floor had an overhang that you could see part of the floor below in a couple different spots. And it had a glass railing. There was no way for you to clean that fucking thing easily. What we ended up doing a lot, and what they had me do because I was the youngest person on the team and thus my back wasn't fucked up like most of theirs was yet. Literally, we would do everything we could from our standing position. And then I would literally have to, like, clean the top outside portion of it as far down as I could reach. You know, the side that is facing where there is no floor. And then I would have to get on my back, reach my arm beneath where the glass ends and the floor, and do my best to clean it, you know, while I'm on my back. So it was slightly embarrassing, definitely uncomfortable, and is one of the many reasons why that place was a pain in the ass to clean. There was also windows that went up several stories in the staircase areas that were, you could not clean the windowsills. You just could not. Like, you would need highly specialized tools or to, like, tape a bunch of things together to get them tall enough. Because you could not reach them even from the staircase itself. So, they would have to, a couple times a year, bring in, like, specialized, like, ladder stuff to get that done. I still have nightmares about HAC some days. Yeah. Just, damn, man. That whoever built that place, it was very nice looking, but whoever cleaned it, or whoever designed it, put approximately zero thought into how people were supposed to clean it. And it made things a huge pain in the patoot for those of us who were meant to. Oh, another example. In that same building, there was this huge room that was sort of, it wasn't even really an auditory, it was just like it had a bit of a stage at the front. Mostly folks used it for, like, if the school had to host a dinner or something like that. In the summers, it got rented out for space for example, like wedding parties and stuff. It had about halfway up the wall, which was about 3 stories high, 2 or 3 stories high, this room was, and it was just open. And from the ground floor to the ceiling was about 2 stories tall, I mean. About halfway up that was a wooden space, and then the wall above that was blank. I used to have to get up on a ladder a few times a week to, like, clean the entirety of that wood paneling. And it sort of helped me get over my fear of heights a little bit. But yeah, no, architecture students, architecture folks that don't take into account real life things have no business being in the business, as far as I'm concerned. If something is pretty but unsustainable, then there's absolutely no reason for it to exist. Aw, man. And the floors of that place, we could only use very specific types of cleaner because it was supposed to be, like, eco-friendly flooring. What that meant is that the flooring wasn't properly, it was a type of stone that was not properly sealed. and it would be damaged if you used normal cleaning materials. So we had to use a very specific cleaner thingies that the other folks had to do because I wasn't licensed for them. They were like big machines that they pushed around. Very specific, and if I had to mop in on the off days that they couldn't get that big machine out, yeah, I had to use like really specific cleaning materials that were... They smelled terrible. The life and times of baby Shara in college and custodial. I like that the skybox that, I like that the sun is an oval. If I look at it from a certain angle. I like that. That's a nice detail. Jay, do you know if they've changed the name of the college a third time? Because I know they changed it from when it was when I went. And then to a certain name. And now I think in the past year or so they've changed it again. But they haven't reached out to me about, getting me a new, degree. Not degree, whatever, yeah, like degree, certificate thing, so. Did you know that once upon a young coon's life he wanted to be an architect? No, I didn't know that. I mean, it's a valid profession, so long as you keep reality in mind. Okay. Yeah, I got a call at some point last year from someone from the college. It was one of the students that they sometimes rope into doing the calls and saying something about how the college was changing again and we'd be informed if that affected us at all. So I guess they must not I guess they must have decided against changing the name once again. Due to the time of day I leave now for my current job to go into the office, I'm often on the train at the same time as a lot of college students because I live right down the line from on the same track as Boston University, so it's always interesting, these little groups of chattering childrens. I had some college under my belt, and originally I had gone for architecture. Ultimately, I'm not enough of a perfectionist, and ended up not liking the work cycle math. Though given I have a fear of heights, probably better I don't have it as a job. Yeah, no, that's valid. A good friend of ours from college, originally went to our college wanting to go into meteorology and changed their major a few times, primarily due to realizing that they're not bad at math, but they fucking hate it. So they would never have made it as a meteorologist. In our specific college, that's one of its main majors, was meteorology. Which, hilariously, most of the classes for that were held in that building I hate so much to clean. Yeah, man. There we go. Boop. Fuck you, game! I don't have to get a ladder if I don't want to! I tried computer science too, but I don't have the patience for that. After that, I dropped out due to all my own feelings and ultimately, unfortunately, lots of events in my life happening. So I never really decided what I wanted to go for, and I never got a degree as a result. Honestly, Coons, that's all extremely valid. The only reason I got a degree is because some of my high school folks, like teachers, were really pushed me to do so. And so did my parents really encouraged me and everything else. I got an English degree just because I didn't know what else to do. I mean, realistically, I should have gone for something useful, but yeah, I just ended up going with an English degree because I knew that was something I could do, even if it wasn't super useful. She needs a ladder even in the game. Shut up, Jay. Not everyone's a freakish giant. I'm reasonable sized. Yeah, I mean, honestly, college isn't for everyone. I know plenty of folks who dropped out that are, like, ultimately it just either wasn't for them or they had a lot of things that are blocking their way to success. And I know it's hard, I know. But ultimately, like, it really isn't for everyone, and you don't have to go to college and be successful. Although it can definitely make things easier sometimes for some careers. I was done with school. High school sucked for me and college was different, but not really. I mean, yeah, that's another thing. Not everyone does well in an organized teaching scenario, in an organized learning. Especially not in the US, when a lot of this shit's honestly dubious at best. High school sucked for a lot of us, especially those of us who are fat, nerdy, or neurodivergent. Like, high school was not a good time for me at all. I wasn't expecting to make it to college, which kind of explains why, I've just kind of been winging it. I didn't expect to last this long. High school in America fucking sucks. Even if the education is okay, everything else about high school sucks. Well, teenagers are... It's being a teenager is fucking hard. And part of the reason for that is other teenagers. But that is what it is. Yeah, other people have plans for their future. I wasn't planning on making it this long, so I'm just kind of winging it at this point, seeing what happens, cause... yeah, basically. But, you know, I've found reasons, even if I don't have any real plans for the future. There's always stuff that makes it worth it. You guys, for one thing. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Part of why I was sticking around this long a couple years ago was, I was waiting for fucking Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out. And that was part of why I was so fucking determined. To the point where I actually had a little freak out when it did come out. But, yeah. Life is hard, but we do our best. Yeah, no, I feel you, Coons. School, like, you can be plenty smart and not test well. You can be good with people, but be terrible at testing. Like, maybe folks are, have a pretty high IQ and are good at learning on their own, but classroom shit isn't for them, or there's a lot of different ways of learning. The American school system, and a lot of school systems in general, don't really allow for alternate ways of learning, which is really one of its primary failings. I mean, fuck, even I was not a straight A student, and I test really well, because I was bored in high school. I was, like, really honestly bored, and I wasn't really interested in putting in the extra effort because we weren't getting rewarded for it. Yeah. Well, like, for example, one of the dudes in my training class for this new job ultimately dropped out of training because he tested super poorly. But he was an incredibly, charismatic dude. I think he would have done it incredibly well on the floor, but he tested super badly and was struggling to remember everything. Because it's a lot of, technologically inclined learning. And the primary ways that we have of teaching do not suit everyone. Yeah, nah. So, I don't know. Here's hoping that we get better about that as a culture as time goes on, because it is certainly needed. Because, there's always going to be people whose brains work differently. That's just how it works. That's just how human beings work. And we need to be able to accommodate them to make, everyone's lives easier. And by we, I mean the government, school, culture in general. So I guess we'll see. My dumbass. I thought I put this on, and I was like, but why isn't it cleaning as well? Gee, Shara, I wonder why. Maybe because you didn't have the extension on. Something about this song reminds me of some Final Fantasy VII music, and I don't know why. Not all the way, but something about it reminds me. I don't know. Oh, so, my roommate Ash has been playing, the new remake game. It looks interesting so far. Metropolis? I've been meaning to watch that for fucking ages, but I haven't seen Metropolis yet. That's gotta be a Midgar slums feel. A little bit, yeah. I'm thinking it's the combination of the saxophone? I assume that is what that is? I don't know. Yeah, the jazzy aspects. I gotta hurry up and set up my TV again. TV, rather, I can words. So I can, replay remake. Yeah, trumpet. Yeah, you're probably right. I I'm really bad at identifying instruments. Trumpet with a mute. Yeah, that tracks, actually. You can affect the pitch by pulling the mute back and forth. Ah, so maybe that's why it reminded me. Or part of it, anyway. I knew it was a wind instrument of some... Well, yeah. A breath instrument of some kind. I just couldn't identify it. Aww. Well, I am proud. I will try my best to do the lady proud. Please give her extra sketches for me. She is a darling lady. And I miss her muchly. Zebras. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get up there to finish that. Oh well. I was gonna have to get up there eventually anyway, because certain things are simply not reachable from down here. Oh, Jay, have you guys been able to log into my Netflix for a while now? Because if you're not, I'm just going to cancel it altogether. I have no use for it. And I don't think Christina can use it either. Get some good rest, bun. Sleep well. Take care of yourself, my dear. I can only log onto my computer, but I can also go watch other things since I have Venture Board. Valid. Yeah, I'm thinking about just straight up getting rid of my Netflix, because I just don't use it enough to make it worth it. And if you guys can't use it, then what's the point? Jay, you know that anime series we watched together, a little part of the last time I was home? With the supernatural one. The lady got married off to somebody she didn't really know. Do you know if that one's updated? It was like My Happy Marriage or something. Oh, good. I'll have to check it out then. I actually rather enjoyed it because it was a rare example of shitty characters getting punished for being shitty. It won't be the same watching it without you, but I'd like to finish it up. I haven't really been watching anything in general. When I have free time, usually I'm watching shit on YouTube or listening to podcasts. Just not enough hours in the day for everything that we want to do. What made me think of that is I kind of want to reread Fruits Basket. Out of kind of nowhere, I got that urge. Theoretically, you have the time, but the energy? Meh. Oh, hi, Link Star. Thank you for joining in the raid. Ah, damn it. It didn't do the... it didn't do the raid noise again. Dang it. Thank you guys for coming in. I really appreciate it. I know that what we're doing isn't quite the same as what Kit was doing, but I hope you folks had a good stream. How'd everything go, Kit? How far'd you get with the Zelda-ing? You have a cute emote. I like it. Excellent. What temple? Wayne! Thank you for joining, Wayne. Thanks everyone for joining in on this little raid. I'm sorry the noise didn't go off. I don't know if the alert popped up on your screen. To be frank, I was paying attention to my game screen. Did the alert for the raid at least pop up, y'all? I'm so mad the noise didn't. I got a specific one from Kingdom Hearts specifically for raids and it just didn't display. Oh well. Dang nabbit. I'll have to figure out why that's not working at some point here. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining in. I hope everyone's having a good night. Yeah. No rush, Kit. It is relaxy time. I didn't even finish this part. Oh, so for those of you that are just coming into the chat, this is Hansel and Gretel's cottage. Hansel and Gretel, who happened to be ex-bank robbers and fled here after robbing a bank. Like, it's implied to be like between 15 and 20 years ago. Apparently they started out pretending they were bakers and now are real bakers who specifically do gingerbread. It's also kind of funny because there was a Mother Hubbard level before this that was a giant shoe of a house. Bake it till you make it. I mean, you're not wrong. But yeah, thanks everyone again for joining in on the raid. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone has had supper. Or, you know, something approximating a snack, depending on what time zone you're in. Now, Kit, are you doing a randomizer with Zelda, or are you doing it, vanilla? Yes, good. I'm glad. Keep yourself fed. Pachoo! Kit, did you have Oh, it's a remake of Zelda 2? Oh, good. I think I remember hearing about that. Now, Kit, did you have supper before you started to stream? That actually makes the game playable. That's good. Because I know I know of a few folks that really enjoyed Zelda 2, but it was kind of jank. Yes, good, ramen. Mama Shara voice intensifies. I mean, yes. Yeah, I mean... Listen, that's part of me by now. I can't just turn that off. I'm not sure how much longer I feel like going. I might do another shorter job or make me a vehicle or two after I do this one. Because I've been going since 8. Technically, I could go for longer than usual tonight since I don't have to work tomorrow, but I'm not sure how I feel yet. Probably we're at 2 hours. Usually I try to do at least 3-hour streams, if I can manage it. So probably a bit longer. Where is the pieces I'm missing of this? Yeah, because this is a different section than that other roof is the problem. Oh, the frame is dirty. Oh, good. Well, those ones are done. Yeah, I'm trying to stick to roughly 3-hour streams, because it's a sustainable length for me. It's not too boring or too long, and then going too much shorter than that feels too short. So, oh, damn, I think I cleaned it all. There's bubble gum on this roof randomly. Probably, you know, as part of the Hansel and Gretel theme with sweets. There we go. Okay, so this roof... Oh, there we go. You're clean, you're clean, you're clean. You are not. Boop. Ah yes, the serotonin dings. I appreciate them. No, do not fall, please. But yeah, you folks aren't obligated to stick around, those of you who rated. I know this is a very different type of stream than what you just came from. I appreciate your presence regardless, though. It's mostly going to be more of this. Just chill cleaning. Yeah, this is chill vibes stream. Come hang out with Mama Shara a little bit. Get yourself some tea and a snack. This is restful time. Now, usually, unless I'm playing The Sims, and all bets are off. My behavior is usually a tad more unhinged when I get to the Sims. Which, by the way, I am taking any suggestions for further experiments. I did bring back our little group from the last experiment, because they don't get to escape just yet. Yeah, as far as this goes, I am a little bit of a mad scientist. Oh, so this roof, before they redid it for the actual release of the game, it was like straw? and the texture was kind of not great. So these tiles, it's a huge improvement. It looks so much nicer. Because for anyone who missed the previous experiment, I did trap the Sims in a dangerous house and saw how long it would take for them to succumb from the various forces. I was perhaps too lenient with them and rescued them from death a few times. So by the end of the stream, I was complaining a lot about how long it was taking them to die. But four of them died of drowning. One of them died of hysteria, which means they laughed to death. One of them died from a fire, and the last one was a vampire. She had a fear of water, so she gets stuck on this little section in the pool and obviously burned to death in the sunlight. So it was definitely an interesting experiment, but they're all back. I've reset them to their default. I've reset them all to get rid of their fears and their relationships, so they're ready to be reused in another experiment. Sorry about that. Had to get adjusted because I was uncomfy. But honestly, that's not super common, the mad scientist vibes of the Sims stream. Well, thank you for sending me that thing, Kit. I very much appreciate it. Well, I'm glad to be your favorite mad scientist. Normally I'm extra nice. The mean has to come out somewhere, and usually I release it in The Sims. Everyone should be very glad that I only release it in The Sims. Trying to figure out where all of this, because I must be missing a good chunk of stuff. I always like the different vibes for streams. Sometimes we're all goblins, sometimes we just want to be cozy with a blankie. Yeah, that's fair. This is more of a... I'm almost always more cozy vibes. Just, you know, every once in a while the gremlin comes out, and, well, yeah. I do have a healthy dose of gremlin. Did I? Huh. I apparently missed part of this door. Not the frame, though. Just the door itself. Oh. Yeah, that would do it. And this step. This step specifically. Alright. Okay, I'm missing some of the posts in the timber frames, so... The posts are these guys. Let's take a little roundabout. Yeah! There we go. I didn't even realize I'd missed you guys. It is you! Hello! Altogether, I guess I didn't miss too much stuff, though. Yay! And only a timber frame I missed somewhere. Any flashy? Yes, flashy. There we go. So this is Hansel and Gretel's house done. I love the playback. Thank you so much for making the cottage look wonderbar. It feels like a stain on our character has finally been removed and we can get back to our true passion. Also, into my mind has already left the recipe to a magnificent new custard strudel. Well, they were ex-bank robbers when they moved here, but it sounds like they're actually bakers now. So you know what? Good for them for going on the straight and narrow. Oh, the mayor's mansion's pretty quick. So the mayor in this game's kind of a douchebag. He's like Mayor Jefferson the 13th. As you can tell, long line of fabulous douchebags. Dirt Finder, someone with too much time and egg on their hands, has seen fit to bombard my magnificent abode with ballistics most foul. FOWL. God damn it. Don't ask me why. I'm as fair and a noble a mayor as this town has ever seen. As I'm sure you appreciate, security is at a premium right now, so I'm afraid I won't be allowing you into my property. Instead, I provided you with a voucher for an extra long washer extension. It's for the cheapest one. I'm not made of money. One last thing. There might be a small element of graffiti on the gates. Please remove that as well while you're out there. Much obliged, JJ13. So, this was a relatively new addition right before, or possibly right after they released the game from Greenlight, or from Beta, rather. And it was where it literally was what unlocked you this extra long extender. Crook. Thumbs down. A spiral, which just makes me think of Naruto. Many squiggles. Upsetty face. Fix the water. Oh yeah, more Anki faces. So, one of the plot points of this game is that everyone suspects the mayor of, doing things to, like, harm the water in the area. Which he is doing. His actions are directly resulting in there being the level of the water in the area going down. So he's directly responsible for things. Of course, you find this out later in the plot. And we actually do know who pelted his house with, or his manor with these eggs. There's a later job that's to a monastery. And the person who hires you for the job is not the monks who live there, but she helps them out. And she specifically, like, says something about seeing the monks head off for a holy mission with a lot of eggs. So, yeah, these jobs are definitely interconnected. And there's actually one of the vehicles you get to clean, and I'll clean it, actually, if it's one of the next vehicles we have, I'll clean it. It's a small plane that, while going over the manor, also got hit by eggs. Upsetty spaghetti. I mean, it's true. The mayor is a douchebag. And actually, his actions have serious consequences, which is something you specifically find out later in the story. But it's still a very chill game. Oh! The UFO. I love that. Yeah, like, literally, and also the mayor's cat is missing. That's what has been occupying the firefighters' time. Because he's forcing them to go out and look for the cat. Is one of the ongoing, like, plot points. I gotta find the text for this one because, like, the mayor, like, waxes poetic about the colors, the different colors of the eggs. Which is very funny to me. But yeah, so, like, the implication is that, this dude's family has basically been mayors for generations. And, They've all been semi-corrupt douchebags, but this is like the worst in the long line of them. He also says something in I don't remember if it's this job or another one, says something about why, like, that indicates he understands why his cat might have left, because he keeps forcing the cat into silly outfits for pictures, and, like, won't let it take it off, so... There's also something that some of the other characters say in texts in their jobs. All the cats in town have gone missing. Like, all at once. So it started with just his cat, and now it's all the cats in the village, or in the town, rather. And that is, again, related to the ongoing plot. This is a relatively quick job, though. Just a little tedious, because of course you can't get up close and personal due to the fucking gates. So all cleaning has to be done through them. Fucking Naruto spiral here. I think it's, if not this job, then one of the one that comes right after, where one of the other people you work for mentions something about, like, people knowing that the mayor is siphoning water from the river and other sources in the area for use on a illicit mining rig. Which turns out to be true. But that's the most I'll say about that until we actually get there. The storyline for this is relatively subtle, but it definitely does still exist. It's not the focus, of course. The focus is the gameplay. And the chill. Also, I think part of the gag is that the mayor has named... The mayor thinks his cat is a dude, and the cat is definitely a female. So I guess that sort of tells you, like, I guess how good of a cat owner he is. Mediocre at best. If folks enjoy this kind of gameplay, I might recommend checking out the game yourselves as well. Obviously, I love having you here, but, like, playing it yourself is a slightly different experience and a little more relaxing, to be honest. And, there's also the fact that I'm sort of missing out on giving you guys some of the lore, because, as you're doing these jobs, as you reach specific percentages of being done, the people who own the job text you with information. And, I can't really read it back to you guys properly in this mode, because the texts are all jumbled up. They don't just display the ones from each specific job in order. they display all the ones from previous jobs as well. Which makes it hard to give the info to you guys as it was given to me when playing these jobs for the first time. It's a very fun game, though. And they did also just release the Warhammer DLC for it. Mind you, the only factions whose stuff you get to clean in the Warhammer DLC is the Space Marines. But it seems pretty cool so far, with my limited understanding of Space Marine stuff. There we go. Whenever I do this job, I keep reminding myself to like try to count how many splats of eggs they are to see how many dozens they must have wasted on this house. And I always forget to do it because I just get going into the job itself. Oh, hello. I forgot I missed you. You know, it's funny, this looks a little like the town hall me and Kit cleaned for the Back to the Future DLC the other day. The other week, rather. Alright, I'm getting to the extent of what I can clean from this angle, so let's... I wonder if our character was contacted the same day this stuff happened, or if that egg has been there for a while. Because if it's been there for a while, I imagine it's a little stanky. And also harder to get off. Because have you guys tried to clean dried egg yolk off of anything? Ugh, it's such a pain in the patoot. Wait, what is this? Oh, it's mud, so they were throwing mud as well. Not just eggs. Blood from the mayor performing executions. Nah, I think this mayor's too much of a pussy. He certainly doesn't seem to want to get his hands dirty with anything. Did I... that column... stairs ornament... Ah! missed that somehow. I do love these little splats of the eggs are so iconic though. Very good splats. We're on the platform. Oh, there's the eggie. There we go. Walls, bases. So probably this. Nope. This, yes. Alright. That's platform. Presumably, yes. There we go. I don't know, dude. I think your house was a lot more fun looking with egg all over it. Many thanks for your work, Dirt Finder. That's more like the kind of magnificent mansion you conclude a multi-million-pound deal inside, is it not? Much obliged, JJ13. You jackwagon. Alright, the carousel is a very long job. So I'm not going to tackle that. So let's see what vehicles there are. We haven't done the dirt bike yet. No, I never want. Yes, we did do the dirt bike because I mentioned how much of a prick this person sounds like. Because he's like, just read this. He's seen one of life's winners. Every morning I put 4 slices of bread in the toaster, but only eat the slice that pops up first. When I have a coffee, I only drink the bit that wins the race to my mouth. Like, what a prick. I don't think we did the golf cart, which is also from the mayor. I need you to clean my sorry golf cart. You might have heard about my poor cat Ulysses going missing. We're all frantic with worry, what with the ceremony just round the corner. I swear I saw him on the golf course, frolicking on the lily pads in the lake by the 13th. Par 3, but I always get a birdie. By the time I realized it was just a boisterous carp, it was too late. I slammed on the brakes and went tumbling down the slope head over tail. Don't worry, docs have given me the all clear, said they'd never seen anyone recover from such a minor incident in so little time, but the cart needs a hose down. Ah, a true Sigma male. I mean, you're not fucking wrong, which is the saddest part. Anyone who unironically uses the term Sigma male needs to go take a nap. I don't understand why dudes are so precious with their... Some, like, men who unironically use the term Sigma male are just so precious about their fragile masculinity. It's just very funny to me, is all. I'm not really saying that in a misandrist way. I'm not anti-man. I'm anti-idiot. And that just kind of goes hand in hand sometimes. Specifically with those type of people, though. Like I said, it's a very specific circumstance. Those kind of folks honestly need counseling. And a good reality check. This is a nice short little job. Yeah, nice quick job. Looking at the golf cart now, it's almost like the whole thing never happened. You're a genius, Dirt Finder. Much obliged. Let's see what else. Clean the motorbike and sidecar. This is by Sue Berry. You may have seen the pics of my hubby and I becoming the first sidecar to complete the 24-hour Great Plains Challenge. Everyone thought the tracks were just too bumpy and 24 hours in the seat too restrictive, but it was no problem at all. When I got uncomfortable, I just took my hands off the throttle for a second and gave them a shake. The brutal 5-hour river section sure took it out of the sidecar, though. Can you clean it up? By the way, Bobby wondered if you knew any chiropractors. It might not have harmed you, Sue, but it sounds like your husband needs a help. And a good massage. And possibly some work with a chiropractor. Because I assume the husband, she said that she was the one on, who was working on the throttle. So I'm kind of wondering if she was the one in the motorcycle and he was the one in the sidecar. Which makes sense. Because he would be getting a lot more, he would be getting a lot more jostled in the sidecar, I think. I don't recall if Sue or her husband show up in other jobs after this one. I'll just have to keep an eye out for their names. Where precise? Oh, fuel tank is here. Mudguard. Ah, it is you. And windshield. This windshield? Yes. Alrighty, another cute little job. These are a nice break from the bigger ones. Great job on the sidecar. It's never looked better. Tempted to go in for the Appalachian Way mega run now. It's always been Bobby's dream. Let's see, what else do we have? The SUV. Beth Ryerson. My poor SUV! Look at the state of it. Dropped the kids off at the play school, and the police had closed the National Park Drive for some reason, so I had to double back over the dirt tracks to get home. Trixie wasn't built for roads like that. Please help her look all cutesy again. XOXO it. Alright, Miss Beth. These jobs usually take a lot longer. The only reason they're going by so quick is frankly because I have the best washer in the game. Usually by this point in the game, you maybe have the second, maybe the third washer because they're pretty fucking expensive. But I've played this game too much, so I have the best one right now. The stories are too good. Yeah, no, I honestly love, like, the characters in this game. Granted, you might never see them in person, but, like, the little text you get from them and everything like that, it's really cute. These feel like actual jobs, you know? I love that this person named their car Trixie. Oh. You know what? I wonder if this person, they said they dropped their kids, she said she dropped her kids off at the play school. I wonder if that was the shoe-shaped house I cleaned in one of the previous streams. Because that was a play school, and that was in the national park. So, could definitely be. I also wonder if, because like the Hansel and Gretel's place is also in the national park. I'm wondering how recent their bank robbery was, and if that's why the police had shut off that part of the park. They didn't really specify how long ago the bank robbery was. I love that a lot of these are like interconnected like this. It's a lot of fun. And it does make this feel like it's a bit more of a legitimate small town that you're working on. Like a lot of these people know each other, and it's cool. I like it. They're subtle storytelling decisions, but I like they're good ones. Let me see if I can find Beth's text. Really smart world building in a game you wouldn't expect it. Oh yeah, there's a story to this entire thing. Okay, so Beth didn't have much in the way of a response to this one. The fact that there is a story at all in this game is really charming. Oh, she looks so beautiful, and just in time for my afternoon catch-up with the girls. Thanks muchly. XOXO. Let's see. Clean the penny farthing. Algernon Evans. Came a cropper on the old bicycle. Seems an element of rust may have crept in and seized up the roddy stopwalks. Give the old boy a quick swish, and there's a shiny threepenny bit in it for you. That was hard on purpose, sir. Algernon. This is also a pretty quick little job, but it's cute. Basically, this dude, I remember the text he sends you while you're working on this job. It's basically how he discovered this thing, and like it's so fun to drive. Like, technically this is like a museum piece, but he doesn't want to donate it because it's so fun to drive, basically. And he's like an antique collector or something, but he actually like tends to use a lot of his stuff, if I remember correctly. This is a pretty quick one. It's so each new power washer, and there's several of them. Some of these older ones aren't capable of doing certain types of dirt. Like, this one I'm using right now is good for any types, but like that first, that level 1 power washer, even at the strongest stream, has a really hard time doing rust, for instance. So, the game incentivizes you to get better, to get the better power washers. There's something to be said about things that have worth, but also are meant to be used. Yeah, that's true. What a tremendous job! He's come out an absolute dream! If he didn't write so beautifully, I'd flog him to a museum. As I was saying. Let's see. clean the recreation vehicle. So this, if you notice, this house in the background here, this is the quote-unquote haunted house we cleaned for these two ladies before. Ora Smith and Jenny Pebbles. Doc, we'd like you to meet our trusty RV. Before we settled down at Esther's, we traveled around the country, chasing mysteries, doing odd jobs, just bumbling around, really. One day we might be deep in a wood, the next we're traveling at breakneck speed along country roads, evading the authorities. All of which has taken its toll on our poor RV. Please give her the clean she deserves to reclaim her crown as Queen of the Open Road. Yeah, these two characters are kind of a hoot. They were absolutely convinced that this house is haunted. They thought the washer and dryer going off was some kind of omen from the old movie star who used to live here. And they mistook a pigeon that had gotten stuck in the attic for a ghost. So, they're funny. I love it when characters in this game crop up again. It's a little continuation of their story. And very few of these characters are like... The only dislikable characters are like the mayor and one of his cronies. And even then, they're interesting. There we go. Graffiti. I don't know who would bother to graffiti the wheels on a vehicle. That seems like a weird choice. Oh yeah, I forgot to do that. There we go. I've never really spent much time in an RV in real life. My aunt had one that some of her kids sometimes use as like a hangout spot during the summers when it was too hot to really sleep comfortably in the house. But that's like the extent of my experience with RVs. When we went camping, we went in tents. Or just sleeping bags and tarps on a few notable occasions. Same, we stayed at one once in an amusement park. Yeah, see, that makes sense, staying in I assume the parking lot of the amusement park. See, that graffiti kind of added to this though, because it turned the tire into a flower, and that's cute as shit. See, I'm pretty sure this is a lesbian couple. They never actually say, but like, I'm assuming they're together. Also, the comment about them evading authorities, like, what did you ladies do? It was like a campsite area they had. Think you could rent RVs or just pay for a spot. Yeah, that makes sense. I think there's a couple of... So which of you is the Daphne and which one is the Velma? Good question. Yeah, given this is a vague recollection from my youth. Well, yeah, because, So there's a couple of amusement parks in New Hampshire. Small ones that I think only like locals really know about. There's Santa's Village, which is, as you might imagine, Christmas themed the entire way around. And there's Storyland. I think it's still open. I hope it is. I really hope it is because it was so unique. Storyland was based on like all kinds of old fairy tales and stuff. And it was for somewhat younger kids. Both of them were. But there was definitely spaces that you could rent. You couldn't rent RVs, but if you had RVs, you could rent a spot. Because there weren't, in those areas of New Hampshire, there weren't a ton of hotel spaces. And the parks were only open for certain parts of the year. So I do seem to definitely remember folks, like, renting spots down there. So what you're talking about, like, yeah, it makes sense. Oh yeah, like we've got pictures of me and my brother from Santa's Village when we were very small. Like, man, it, yeah, it's all Christmas themed. I don't know if they still have it, but they used to have they used to have a petting area or a feeding area for reindeer. Which you could only do certain times of the year because, obviously, reindeer are technically, not as domesticated as many other beasties. And, were dangerous at certain times of the year. And, yeah, I remember there was a really shitty roller coaster that was Rudolph themed specifically. And I distinctly remember my brother losing his baseball cap on it and being very upset. Yeah, it was definitely for younger kids, probably like 12 and under. But because any older than that, it's kind of boring because it is definitely skewed for younger. But it's a cute little place. As far as I know, they're both still open. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Roller Coaster. I mean, yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but it was a Rudolph roller coaster. And I don't even know if you could call it a roller coaster. It wasn't really a roller coaster, it was just a gentle, like, up and down in a small loop. It was like baby's first roller coaster. Literally, because it was meant for small children's. And in Storyland, I think it was, everyone really wanted to go on the tiny, tiny flume ride that was right next to the main entrance. That was always one of the most popular rides. Yeah, kid coasters are cute. They're really charming. In those parks, I mean, I definitely have good memories from them. My parents do. There's some pictures of me and my brother as little biddies. Of course, the park isn't really open and is only open for certain days when it actually gets close to winter, because it's New England and the weather is unreliable, and you can't really have folks going on all of the outdoor attractions when it's snowing because that's unsafe. But oh man, I remember me and Steven, so you could buy these enormous cookies, sugar cookies, gingerbread cookies to decorate. And I remember me and Steven getting in a fight because we had to, they were very expensive because it's a theme park, and we had to decorate one of them together. And I distinctly remember that we got in an argument over it. I'm not even sure how many times Dale has changed hands at this point. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think I've thought about Disney World, or not Disney World, sorry, about Santa's Village in years. And they're, you know, they're obviously local attractions. I know a lot of folks from other states just straight up don't know about them. What's... Okay, it's just dirt and sand. Okay. Okay, I'm missing enough of this for it to not count just yet, so... There we go. Yeah! So next time I play, we'll do the carnival, some of the carnival rides. Jesus. 6 times is a lot of times for something to change hands. Then again, the Grand Resort Hotel near my hometown has changed hands many times in the past few decades, and unfortunately has been shut down for the better part of a decade. Maybe closer to 2, because it requires like millions of dollars of renovations and no one wants to put the money in, so they keep trading it around like a hot potato. Which is a shame, because it used to be the location where we held our... I mean, not only was it a Grand Resort Hotel, there was a ski resort associated with it. Like, we used to have our school prom there in high school. And it was also where folks would vote for one of the first it was one of the first places in New Hampshire to vote for the in the presidential election. So I don't know where they vote now. Love that someone put a little smiley face and graffiti on the top of a van. Yeah, well, the actual hotel itself was almost as old as the town itself, which is over 200 years old. So it just hadn't had maintenance much in all that time. And of course, when you don't use a place, it falls into disrepair faster. So I don't know if they'll ever be able to fix it. I hope so. Harper here, just want to thank you again for gifting me the RV. I'm about to hit the road, heading for pastures unknown. She's so beautiful and so clean. I know you said not to, but I've sent some cash over. Maybe put it towards a washer upgrade? Take care, and I'll keep an eye out for any interesting jobs for you. You're the best. Like I said, these guys, Jenny and Aura, text you throughout the entire job. And some of their texts, they don't plan on traveling anymore. They literally give our character this RV. So per this text, we gave the RV to Harper, who's the dude from the first job who helped us get our car, get the van for cleaning, which I think is pretty cool. All right, and then we've got. Sure, the drill shouldn't take crazy long. So this dude's name is, of course, Blake Thrust. Is this the Dirt Finder General? I've been given your details by the mayor as a person who can wash things and keep the dirt to themselves. Meet Holy Moly, my subterranean mining unit. It's a one-man excavator that I use to scour beneath the Earth's crust for valuable mineral deposits. Well, not me personally, I just tell them where to dig. Anyway, you might find some unusual mineral traces during the clean. Please dispose of those judiciously. This is one of your first hints that the mayor is doing something skeevy as shit. Always makes me sad when I drive through an old town and there's just tons of buildings left derelict. Just places that could be homeless for folks. No, I definitely agree with you. It's really upsetting. So there is these patches of ore. Just unspecified ore. Don't worry, that's not a plot point or anything. But yeah, Blake Thrust. What an incredible fucking name for this douchebag who's working with the mayor. Let's see, there's grime, sand. I love how it says grime. It's just interesting looking is all. I'm going to do as much of all of this space as I can while standing up and then go back over it while crouching. Places that could be cheap housing for folks. And there lies the rub. In reality, it costs a lot more money to leave those places, empty. Because it causes them damage over time to be, not to have the heat on and the water running. Like, the infrastructure crumbles faster when it's not lived in, rather. But due to people's greed and, late-stage capitalism, we can't give folks cheap housing. Why ever would we do that? That would mean we can't take advantage of them. They have to be maintained or torn down. And part of the problem is that, if the house is particularly old, there's often laws against tearing it down completely, and instead that dictate that they have to keep a certain percentage of the house intact for historical purposes. The problem with that being, of course, that, who's got the fucking money for that? So it just crumbles and crumbles, further and further. And, yeah. But, the common sense doesn't mean much in the face of greed and money and capitalism. Historical makes sense in some areas and doesn't in others. Yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if towns have laws against, tearing down a place or doing things to a place just because it's a historical building, then they should really contribute towards helping to keep the place up to date. Unfortunately, and they make it the owner's problem, and, well, sometimes the owner doesn't want to put the money in or doesn't have the money to maintain a place the way it needs to be maintained. Like certain 200-year-old places that I lived in once with crumbling roofs. That, by the time I moved out of there, and by the time that someone else I know moved out of there, the top floor of the building looked like fucking Silent Hill. If right, Jay? Poor Jay. Had to live in that fucking crumbling place because, well, for some, there's quite a few reasons that place was crumbling. It was a beautiful house that, certain people shouldn't have purchased because they couldn't upkeep it, but, That's always the example I think of. when under these circumstances, to be frank. They do, like, I mean, they knew they were living outside their means, and they chose to live in there regardless, because unfortunately, they made the decision, in all aspects of their lives, to, how to put this, to go for appearance over function or common sense. And that goes for literally every aspect of their lives. Like, my dad brought up the house the other day and asked if it had collapsed yet. Because my dad is also familiar with that situation in that specific house we're talking about. And when I was living there, and it's been over a decade, my dad was already like, it had told the people living there and in charge of it, that if they didn't do something soon, that roof was literally going to cave in. And my dad literally the other day was talking to me, and upon asking how, certain friends in Vermont were, also asked if that house had come down yet, because there was no way that, that it could be staying much longer, because the roof was in a terrible state even over a decade ago. And nowadays, I can't imagine it's any better. Do they just keep adding fucking sections of, like, tarp to that roof in hopes that it's doing something to keep the water out? Oh, they did fix the roof? Holy shit! I wonder if it was a legit fix and they went in and they fixed, because part of the reason the roof was so expensive to fix was because, in order to do so, they also had to service and fix the numerous fireplaces, or fire chimneys, that's the word. The rest of the structure of that. See, I'm wondering if they just patched the roof, but here's the thing. If they didn't also fix those chimneys, that's not a permanent fix. The whole reason stuff was going to take a lot of time to fix was because the chimneys had to be fixed at the same time. So if they didn't do that as well and just did a spot job, well, they basically wasted their money. Because the problem is just going to keep coming back. But yeah, certain people deliberately chose to live outside of their means for the sake of appearance. And, the fact that they were kind to me and let me live with them for a little bit does not undo their shitty decisions in other respects of their lives, or the fact that they're kind of dumbasses. This is something of a tricky one to clean, by the way. It's so finicky to try to get the last piece that I need for it to ding. There we go, thank you! Rear shieldings and wheels. What? Oh, that wheel. Yeah, that makes sense. There we go. Rear shielding, so I'm assuming it's one of these guys. Ah. 'Tis you. There we go. That is a tremendous job, Dirt Finder. You may have earned yourself some lucrative future contract work. Congratulations. Go fuck yourself, sir. you're skeevy as hell. Alright, my dudes. I think that is it for me for now, simply because I'm trying to not stay up too late. I don't want to ruin my sleep schedule for the rest of the week. Because for the next couple of months, I have shifts starting at 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. And in order to get there on time, I have to leave 2 hours ahead of time. So I'm having to wake up at before 6 and 7 a.m. So, you know, I want to keep stuff going. But thank you guys for showing up to this. I really appreciated it, especially those of you who popped it, as well as those of you who popped in from Kit's stream. Yeah, I appreciate it. Now I just gotta figure out, Sorry, I just gotta figure out who to raid, because there's a few folks who are still alive. It looks like the alchemist is still alive. I don't know if some of these people that was oh, Kit. Yeah. Okay. Who do you think we should raid? Because I know you gave me a list of folks. Is Glitch Kitten and Blumberly still alive? Yeah, we can do that then. If I can. Yeah. Well, I don't think Kid's streaming, so you'll have to wait until the next time he streams to attack him with some bees. But yeah, my dudes, thank you guys so much for popping by for the stream. It was nice and chill, and I really appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a good rest of your night. Make sure to get some good rest when you can. And yeah. I believe you said that at the time that they were streaming Pizza Tower, which is a good time. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you again so much, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and let's go bother Glitch Kitten. Here we go!